Good evening. Welcome to this edition of Northeast Diary. Here we bring you the latest developments from India's unexplored Northeast region. Friends, how many of you know that the strawberry actually belongs to the rose family? While roses are not generally edible, strawberries are. In this edition of Northeast Diary, we will talk about the farmers in Meghalaya who have taken to strawberry farming. We will also travel to Nagaland to learn about the war cemetery in Kohima. India is the only country in the world where various communities coexist in peace and harmony. These communities have played important roles in the freedom struggle and collectively fought and got independence from British colonialism. Such an event in history is the Kuki Uprising or Kuki Rising, which lasted for 3 years. Some of the then British officers termed this rising as one of the longest. This was the largest and costliest military operation in the whole of India since the Sepoy Mutiny of 1857. Remembering those martyred in the struggle, 17th of October is remembered as Kuki Rising Day in Manipur. It is a state-restricted holiday in Manipur. Here is a report from our Imphal correspondent, DJ Thokchom.
The Kuki community fought against the suppressive British colonial force for 3 years starting from October 1917. Kuki inhabited in hilly areas of Manipur are levied, house tax and liable for forced labor whenever British appointed officials visit their villages. During the First World War, British conducted labor drives in hill areas in Manipur for construction of war materials in France. The Kuki community stands against the policy. The British burned down a Kuki village, Lonpi of Chanden district of Manipur on 17 October in 1917. This incident has triggered the famous Kuki Uprising, which then British Lieutenant Colonel J.L.W. Franz Müller said hit and run or guerrilla warfare was the most tedious and demoralizing to the troops. Remembering those martyrs in the uprising, a memorial statue was constructed at Kuki of Imphal. The General Secretary of Kuki Independence War Memorial Committee, Dr. V. Hawkins, said that the Kuki uprising was simultaneously conducted in Manipur, Nagaland, Assam, Myanmar and Chittagong hill tracts of Bangladesh. He said,
"Actually, Kukis were independent people. Each village has its own chiefs. So they thought they were independent and nobody is above them. But when the British came and ruled them, and the so-called colonial rule, they were not happy. And moreover, when they were asked to go to France for a labor during First World War, they refused to comply the British government's order. That's how they fought a war lasting 3 years, starting from 1917 and ended in 1919. So this war has been recorded by different authors as Kuki Rebellion or Kuki Rising or Anglo-Kuki War, or some local writers also name it as Thado Gal or Zhou Gal. The then governor of Assam, Sir Robert Reid, recorded as the most serious event in the history of Manipur. And also a writer, W.L. Shakespeare, he recorded this war as the longest series of military operations conducted on the soil of India. And some writers in the British record, it's written as longest, largest, costliest military operation in the whole India since the Sepoy Mutiny of 1857. Therefore, this war is not a small war. This is one of the biggest war against the British colonial rule.
The long drawn-out war took a heavy toll on the Kuki populace. Their villages and crop fields were burned down to the ground. Their leaders were arrested and kept at jail. Sadia of Assam finally conceded the war in 1999. However, their undominable spirit and high morale remains. JJ Thoksom from Imphal for AIR Northeast Diary.
India is known for varieties of cottage industry products produced by local artisans. A large number of people rely on the industry for their livelihood. But for the last few years, this business has been harshly affected due to the aggression of foreign products in the markets. As Chinese or other foreign materials are not being imported lately due to the pandemic, we are witnessing a steady revival of age-old traditions. In Tripura, local markets are flooded with local or homemade diyas or pradeeps ahead of Diwali. Our Agartala correspondent Reena has a report on this.
In Tripura, ardent pottery making is an age-old tradition of the people of the state. Many of the families fed their livelihood from this cottage industry business. But with the aggression of foreign products, these local businesses were almost collapsed for the last few years. However, this year, as the import of foreign goods is on the ban, local artisans are seen flourishing with their home ardent mat diyas, and they are presently earning handsome income. Anamika Rudrapal, a local artisan who has been working in this field since her childhood, told AIR that this year they are hopeful of good business. Orders from buyers are coming continuously, and the almost diet of business seems to restore itself steadily.
We had a sound business of ardent clay-made lamps, but it has been facing tremendous loss of market due to China-made lace of electric lamps. Now, during the COVID period, the China lamps are not being imported, are not available in local markets. So, our business is flourishing. Before Diwali, we are getting huge demands of clay lamps. All of our family members are helping my father to his manufacturing and selling of clay lamps. We are now happy.
The ongoing trend towards the revival of India's local workforce culture is what Prime Minister Narendra Modi visions of India as an Atmanirbhar Bharat, and the trend certainly sets for vocal for local goods. For Northeast Diary, this is Reena Naumaitham from AIR News, Agartala.
In a bid to improving the health condition of the malnourished children, the Bongaigaon District Administration in Assam has initiated Mission Sampurna. The Mission Sampurna is the brainchild of the Bongaigaon Deputy Commissioner Dr. M.S. Lakshmipriya. Our Guwahati correspondent Manas Pratim Sharma gives us more details about Mission Sampurna.
Bongaigaon Deputy Commissioner Dr. M.S. Lakshmipriya has started the Mission Sampurna initiative for the betterment of 2,500 malnourished children in the district. Dr. Lakshmipriya said that
in the district of Bongaigaon, we have around 2,500 malnourished children, including severe acute malnourished and moderate acute malnourished children. So our approach is that we have to educate, empower, and make the mothers of these children capable enough to handle the situation. So we are going to target the mothers of the children because the mother is the first person and the last person who will be 100% committed to their own child. As a mother myself, I can relate to that situation as well. First, we have done a survey and identified all the malnourished children in the district. Then we have identified their mothers and included them in self-help groups so that they can still keep earning during the time that the child is getting managed. So there are two components. One is community management of malnourishment and second is empowerment of mother. So for community management, we have identified one mother of a healthy child in the same Anganwadi area from the same community. She will be called a buddy mother. So the mother of the malnourished child and the mother of the healthy child, that is a buddy mother, they form a buddy pair. They have a lot of conversations at the Anganwadi level and in such a way that the buddy mother is able to relate many practices that are helpful to her child. Second part is that from there growth chart is monitored and the child's progress is monitored. And we also give nutritional supplement in terms of milk and egg to the child for the project period. After that, our aim is that to the 3-month period is over, the mother would have already become empowered because we are adding her, putting her in a self-help group. And through the self-help group, we are supplying them some poultry in such a way that she can continue earning as well. Otherwise, what happens is once a child is put in a nutritional rehabilitation center. By the time the child is healthy and discharged from the hospital after say 7 or 10 days, that mother or the family would have already lost their income for 7 or 10 days. And again the child will go back to malnutrition, and also other children in the family also will go into malnutrition. Therefore, our aim is, in order to sustain nutritional status of a child, community level management using body-mud concept and nutritional supplementation, plus empowerment of the mother of the child by introducing her into self-help group.
This is Manaswati Sharma for Northeast Diary from Air News Guwahati.
The tallest statue of Guru Padmasambhava in the world at Samdrupse Hill near Namchi town is a key site of pilgrimage and tourism in South Sikkim. The 135 feet high statue, painted in copper, pink and bronze atop the forested Samdrupse bridge, is visible from miles around. To learn more about this, let's go over to our Sikkim correspondent Namo Dixit.
In Buddhist tradition, Guru Padmasambhava or Guru Rinpoche is the patron saint of Sikkim, believed to have blessed the state more than 1200 years ago. President of Samdrupse Puja Committee, B.T. Tamang, spoke to Northeast Diary on the site's importance.
Guru Padmasambhava visited Sikkim in the 8th century AD. He is particularly powerful in the day and age when negative emotions are stronger and confusion greater than ever before. Historically, he is known as the second Buddha. He is popularly worshipped in Sikkim as Guru Rinpoche. In order to invoke his blessings, we have to recite his mantra, Om Ahung Vajra Guru Padma Siddhi Hum. The Vajra Guru mantra is the very heart essence of Padmasambhava. It is also the mantra of all Buddhas. When you chant it, you are invoking the very embodiment of Padmasambhava. The essential meaning of the Vajra Guru mantra is, invoke you, the Vajra Guru Padmasambhava, by your blessing, may you grant us ordinary and supreme siddhis. It is explained in the scripture that these 12 syllables mantra carry the entire blessings of Buddha's teachings. Therefore, to recite the Vajra Guru mantra is equivalent to the blessings of reciting the whole of the Tripitaka or practicing the whole teachings of the Buddha. Although we are not able to see Guru Rinpoche in person, the recitation of 12 syllables and the merit and blessings you obtain is tremendous. Appropriately, we are very fortunate to have the tallest statue of Guru Padmasambhava in the world, installed by the government of Sikkim at Samdrupse Namchi under the spiritual guidance and supervision of His Eminence the Dodrupchen Rinpoche. It is therefore with due dedication to Guru Rinpoche, the second Buddha, and to invoke his blessings for the cause of universal peace and prosperity in general. To mention for the few, Prime Minister of India Narendra Modi ji had the darshan of this Padmasambhava statue at Samdrupse when he was the Chief Minister of Gujarat.
His Holiness the Dalai Lama laid the foundation stone for his statue in 1997, while then Chief Minister Pawan Chamling unveiled it in February 2004. The hilltop offering views of Mount Kanchenjunga, Namchi town, Darjeeling, Kalimpong and eastern part of Nepal is also a key draw for tourists, beside architectural and religious significance of the site. With Saikat Sarkar, this is Namo Dixit for Northeast Diary from AR News, Sikkim.
Strawberries are a member of the rose family and one of the few fruits with an almost universal appeal. Deep, red heart-shaped and luscious, the glossy red berries attract the most jaded of eyes. In Meghalaya, many farmers are growing strawberries and earning good profits. Meghalaya is the third largest producer of strawberries in the country after Maharashtra and Punjab. Meghalaya produces about 350 metric tons of strawberry annually. Klesta CM, a 58-year-old Divyang farmer from Khel Mawla, a small hamlet in West Khasi Hills, became a successful farmer and the first to introduce the growth of famous California sweet Charlie strawberry in the district, which was considered unsuitable for the fruit due to climatic conditions. More on this from our Shillong correspondent Sameer Verma.
Klesta CM has become a well-known farmer and a master trainer in different agriculture departments and for introducing strawberry cultivation in West Khasi Hills. Speaking to the AIR News, He said that his passion and determination helped him in pursuing his dream. He was not able to walk properly since the age of 13. However, the disability did not stop him from fulfilling his dream and doing his work as a farmer. Though not able to wear shoes since one of his feet is totally disabled, barefooted, CM traveled to many states in India and abroad to attend workshops and training on agriculture. He had seen a report about the cultivation of strawberries in a TV channel, and since then he decided to cultivate strawberry in his district. He went to meet the district horticulture officer to inquire about the matter but was made fun of and teased by the official. They said that strawberry will not grow in any part of West Khasi Hills since the climate is not suitable. But his passion did not let him stop. He attended a workshop in Shillong, and an officer in charge of strawberry planting gave him 50 strawberry saplings. In April 2005, his garden turned red with Sweet Charlie strawberry from California. He won the first prize at Strawberry Festival held in Shillong.
In my life as a farmer of this place, it's changed to the high level because at the first time when I grew the plant, because only one time of harvesting, and then when I cultivate the strawberry, but the running all round the harvesting, and so the profit is highest. And I want to purchase the many plot of land.
Mr. CM grows strawberries on 3 acres, but due to heavy rain and the pandemic this year has affected his strawberry market. He has also started the nursery mission of strawberries and delivers training to motivate youth and farmers to take up sustainable farming. This is Samir Verma for Northeast Diary from AIR News, Shillong.
In this episode of Northeast Diary, we have with us Member of Parliament from Mizoram, C. Lalrosanga. He had retired as DG of Doordarshan. In an interview with our Aizawl correspondent Irene, MP Lalrosanga deliberated and expressed on varied subjects and current issues of developments in Mizoram.
Mizoram is a remote little state in the northeast corner of India, a landlocked hilly tribal state endowed with serene climate and landscape with undulating hills and forests. Today, the state is hard hit by the COVID-19 pandemic. Loss of employment, staggering business, and food supplies is one of the many hardships the people are facing. The Mizoram government is striving to overcome the menace and takes it on as a challenge to kickstart its development in infrastructure, entrepreneurship and skill development. Today we welcome Mizoram's Lok Sabha MP, Mr. C. Lalrosanga. He needs no introduction to AIR, and for listeners across the country, he was the news editor of Regional News Unit of AIR Aizawl way back in the 70s and 80s. In 1975, he joined All India Radio Aizawl as a news reader. He retired as the Director General, Doordarshan, Delhi. Mizoram's lone Lok Sabha member, Mr. C. Lalrosanga, is optimistic for the future of Mizoram. Speaking on the development scenario and on which areas the state is now focusing, he said,
Mizoram is well on its way to development. It's quite a developing state among the northeastern states. Apart from the fact that it is a hilly state and a tribal state and it is a landlocked state, the state has inherent problems of development, but nevertheless, the state has been doing quite well on almost all sectors. The state government has adopted the socio-economic development policy on which it is closely working on, and this is meant for overall socio and cultural and educational development of the state. So the state is doing quite well. But for the fact that COVID-19 had set in, the state have had a much faster state of development in the last 1 year or so. However, the state, as we just said, is a backward state development-wise because infrastructure-wise, the state is lacking. Infrastructure has to be built, and especially road communication. The road infrastructure is not still developed as we would like it to be. However, Mizoram has a huge potential for agriculture, and the horticulture development has been on the forefront of its development. And also, apart from the developments taking place, the state is also educationally doing quite well. But then the problem is that Mizoram is still dependent on central government funding mostly. So we need to learn to be more self-sufficient. There is a lot of self-sufficient scope the state has, especially on the agriculture, horticulture, and other fronts. I think after once the COVID-19 subsides, the state will grow on a much faster pace. I would say overall the state government is doing quite well and people are quite happy with the performance of the state government. Entrepreneurship is yet to be developed. Recently we have had that problem of migrant workers, people working in different parts of the country, coming home to the state from different parts of the country because of the COVID, loss of employment and all that kind of thing. So right now the state government is focusing on development of infrastructure and entrepreneurship. And we are now trying to see that skill development take place. We are in touch with the state government, the central government. I recently got in touch with the Skill Development Ministry at the center. And once I go back to Delhi, I will also try to pursue it further. And the Mizoram Youth Commission on its own have been taking leads on this. They are training and imparting skill development on the youth.
Mizoram is appreciated for peace and also tops in happiness index. Mr. Lalrosanga said he attributes this to the healthy minds and spiritual state of the people.
Especially those youth who have come back in the wake of the COVID-19 and lockdowns in different parts of the country. The state government has opened a portal for employment, youth portal also, and I think this will be of much help to the youth of the state. And we are working with the entrepreneurship development institutes in other parts of the country as well. We are in touch with them and we will try to see that more and more training is imparted, skill development trainings are imparted to the youth. Well, I am happy to learn that our happiness index is quite high. I was happy to learn it. In fact, when I heard about it, I got the report and in fact I circulated to some of my MP colleagues, in fact. Mizoram as a whole, we are happy people. We are people when we gather and when we are alone also we are usually quite happy. The fact perhaps is that our happiness does not perhaps come from material positions. I think it has a lot to do with our spiritual and mental state. Mizos are by nature a happy lot. Wherever we are, whenever we go out, we are a happy lot when we gather. So I am very happy, and I think the happiness index is also high, also to a large extent because of the provisions the state government has been making. The health care system, even though not so very high, it's quite good enough for most people, and educational system also is providing them support. People are happy because their essential needs, their daily needs are being provided, and there is no starvation, there is no lack, there is no, dissatisfaction amongst the people. And as a community also, we are a happy lot. So happiness index is quite high because of all this.
During COVID-19 pandemic, the state's COVID awareness and management initiatives have also shown community involvement and given better results. He said he applauds the government's initiative to tackle the pandemic with an all-inclusive approach.
I am quite happy with the way the state government is handling COVID-19 prevention and precaution and treatment. They have been doing quite well. And as you just mentioned, in Mizoram we have a very positive, very widespread and very supportive community participation. Our NGOs, our churches have been very helpful. They have been lending their support. They have been going out of their way. And so every member of the society is involved in this. In every locality, in every village, every town, So I think in this system of community participation, Mizoram has been doing quite well, and I'm very happy about this. And I think it's a matter of pride that we have one of the lowest incidents of COVID-19 in the country, mostly thanks to the efforts of the state government and to the participation of the communities.
Lastly, he said building trade relations and cultural relations with the neighboring country Bangladesh and Myanmar is a priority that needs to be addressed. And addressing to the border dispute with Assam is also high on his list of priority.
Mizoram, as you know, is bordered by two countries. It is strategically located. We are sandwiched between Bangladesh and Myanmar. So we have to develop trade relations, cultural relations on a larger scale with these two countries. The central government has made a policy for all this, but then it is yet to be developed. The Act East policy, for example, is yet to take off as far as Mizoram is concerned. Our border trade with Myanmar is not at the optimum level. There is need for developing road infrastructure more and more, and we need to increase the volume of trade. The same thing goes with Bangladesh. So especially in the context of the border disputes that we have with our neighboring state, I think that we have to put more extra efforts into this.
For Northeast Diary, this is Irene from AIR News, Aizawl.
The World War II was the most devastating war. Thousands of soldiers were killed, but how many of these heroes are remembered today? The war cemeteries throughout the world are the only living memories of stories of their deeds, and it makes one cry, it makes one remember the agony and the devastation of the war. One small but beautiful cemetery on the beautiful hillock in the far east corner of India gives us the message of these war heroes. The place is Kohima, the capital town of Nagaland. The heart-touching words inscribed on the epitaph conveys a message to the future generations, the words of sympathy, honor, love and affection.
The Kohima War Cemetery on the slopes of the Garrison Hill, built in the year April 1944, is a memorial dedicated to 1,420 Commonwealth soldiers, along with 917 Hindu and Sikh soldiers who laid their lives while halting Japanese advance into India. Designed by Colling St. Clair's Oaks, the cemetery is designed into a series of terraces where stone steps lead to the way. Beautifully covered with grass and flowers, the plot of the cemetery looks like a colorful blanket sculpted with stories of brave hearts who laid down their lives for the nation. As around 17,000 soldiers, including British and Indian, were reportedly killed, missing and wounded, the British, before leaving India, decided to erect such a memorial in the memories of the valiant comrades. At the lower end of the cemetery near the entrance is a memorial to the 2nd Division. It bears the inscription, "When you go home, tell them of us and say, for you tomorrow we gave our today." Another notable feature at the site is a cherry tree near the tennis court where the battle was fought, where a small brass plate reads, "For you tomorrow we gave our today." Today, this spot is a great tourist attraction to many as it tells people more about our ancient history. 75 years had gone since the beginning of the Battle of Kohima. But the Kohima War Cemetery still stands against all odds of nature. It is one of the perfect, noblest, the most classical, beautiful memorial that any loving heart or any proud nation could desire for the heroes fallen in the foreign land. For Northeast Diary, this is Asonyo from AIR News, Kohima.